So then, Craig, in the process of now that you've written the book is out. A lot of family laundry is out there for everyone to see. I'm wondering, what have you learned about fatherhood, and what have you learned about yourself being a father now to two kids?
I've learned during the course of the research for the book, primarily conversations with my dad, and also through working on some of the stories for the Today Show for my series, Dad's Got This, meeting other dads from around the country. We're all doing the best that we can. We're doing the best that we can with the tools that we've been given. And for the better part of my life, Jonathan Capehart, I couldn't understand why my dad couldn't be more like Cliff Huxtable.
Mm-hmm.
Not Bill Cosby, Cliff Huxtable. I couldn't understand why my dad was so detached from our family, from society at large, why drinking was his favorite hobby, why he didn't, hug me, or why he didn't tell me he loved me. I couldn't figure any of that out until I started working on this and talking to my dad. My dad, in addition to being born in a federal prison, he didn't know who his father was until he was almost a teenager. In the book, I write about asking my dad what's the most money he ever wasted, and without missing a beat, my dad said something like, $1,500 in 1986. I said, well, what'd you spend that on? He's like, that's how much I had to pay to put my father in the ground after he died because no one else would. And in that moment, I realized that for me to expect my father to be the kind of dad I wanted him to be, that was an unrealistic expectation. You can't be what you can't see. And my dad, in addition to not knowing who his dad was, he wasn't surrounded by other positive male role models in the 1950s in South Carolina. He just didn't have them. So when he became a dad, again accidentally, not begrudgingly, but accidentally, when he became a dad, he didn't know what he was doing. He wasn't reading parents' magazines or books on how to be a great dad. But he did exponentially better than his dad. He stuck around. He worked the third shift to provide for our family. He helped get us to the middle class. So in his eyes, he was a hell of a dad. As I was working on this book and as I've gotten older, I've come to understand um, that when we know better, we do better, and we know a lot better now. And so I was hard on my dad for a long time, externally and internally. And part of what's come of this book for me, it's a release. I have forgiven my father in full for all of it. Forgave him years ago, but put pen to paper in part to make sure he understood the depths of that forgiveness. And I didn't forgive him. I didn't forgive him for him. I forgave him for me, by and large. It's too much to carry around.